So welcome to chapter 3 of Supersonic and the collaborative interview. So this is actually our second take because I had a bit of a problem with my computer. And instead of lying to everyone, I would like to say that I am human, mistakes happen, and I'm ever grateful that the two collaborators found the time to find me again today so we can do this. So dudes, you're super awesome. One's you is on camera, the other one's you is not on camera. But yeah, something went wrong with the gremlins in my machine and we're all very happy to do this for the second time.
Hey, come on. What happens to us all? I mean, just because you had to drag me off of the beach, you had to drag me away from 48 children and like half of Sanofi was on the beach doing an environmental project. And our guest down there, like, we've actually stopped the train from leaving the station, taken them off a train and have them so don't worry about it. No pressure.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. So what we needed to do and what we wanted to do in the last one is exactly what we're going to do in this one. So we're going to talk about the new track, we're going to talk about the new collaborator and what's about to come out tomorrow at 8 p.m. So every Saturday or every second Saturday we launch Supersonic and it comes up on Sean's socials, and then the collaborative interview comes out the day before on mine, which gives you a taste of Find Out Friday. You get to find out who it is, what the track is and all that. But before that, we wanted to do a little brief recap on Supersonics and how it's been growing, how it's been changing, because this is obviously the third installment in 6 weeks, which is incredible, really, when you think about it. Each installment has been so different from the last, and it's wonderful to see that all the tracks are mixed and merged exactly to the artscape at hand. So that's Sean's incredible work. Sean, how have you been feeling about the project so far?
I suppose, yeah, chapter 3, it's like every 2 weeks up to now and a month or two before that in terms of planning. But like the 3 tracks, the first one, Neurulis, Hoisin Island. And then we followed up then 2 weeks ago with an amazing track by Wob, the Viking Tree was the output video. And that was quite a technical piece of video to edit, which took me several weeks really to edit. But this track, the third track, when we reveal the collaborative artist, the electronic music artist that's collaborated with us on this, it's different again. And it's kind of like, what would you say? It's like a progression again from those 2 tracks. And I think that when the third track is in place, there's a beautiful contrast between each track. So and it shows different styles in terms of the visuals as well. Each drawing that I've made has been on Kilmurran Cove, and they've all been filmed with my giraffe. And actually, I was thinking about it today. The first piece, Hoisin Island, is way off out on the lowest tide of the month. The second piece, White Queen Tree, was way over on the right, on the far side of the stream. And the third piece that we're going to be revealing now is way over on the left, underneath the landslide, underneath the cliff at Kilmurran. So 3 completely different areas of the same beach. But yeah, very excited about the project, and it's coming together nicely. And we've got some great tricks up our sleeve, Rebecca.
We do. We have many tricks up our sleeve. So obviously we're shortly going to interview our latest collaborator. But before we do that, obviously I love that the beach is being featured so heavily and in all its different spots. That's amazing. I think a lot of people, when they hear the words electronic music, they just think that it's one genre, like it's techno or whatever. And I think as well as delving deeper in your art forms and the transformation, we're showing so many different electronic artists and what they're capable of, and that's adding to the magic, because then we're taking their music and we're merging it with your art form and we're challenging you all the time with these tracks. And this one in particular, actually, it just fitted so well with the video. Like they all do, but this one is just a little bit sunnier and simple in a way. So like I love that they're all so different and they're all so catered exactly to what's going on, because the music industry right now is sort of not in a great space. So I think projects like ours are super important to reinvigorate and help creatives stay creative, just thinking outside the box in what we can do right now as opposed to concentrating on what we can't.
Yeah, like, and as you say, like, I mean, electronic music, it hasn't been my go-to genre, shall we say, down through my musical life. But I suppose for me, it's the challenge of connecting. Like, I love a challenge. And for me, the time lapses that I'm creating from my giraffe, my giant tripod, they're very, very fast and almost like an animation. It's this image miraculously appears in front of your eyes. So I'm trying to see, is it possible to somehow connect the beat and the rhythm of the music with the visual? So that's for me is the personal challenge. But as well as that, as you said, with the music industry basically on its knees. I mean, there's been some amazing music produced in the last year or two. Like some of my favorite artists have, like, you know, in the last 2 years, there've been amazing albums released and incredible stuff released. But, you know, being sustainable going forward, the industry, you know, needs to get back on the road in terms of being able to perform in whatever shape that takes for now. But, you know, so I suppose, like with the work that you've been doing with the Irish music industry, Rebecca, that I think it's, you know, at least we're putting a spotlight on many Irish artists in this collaborative process. We do have some international and internationally acclaimed artists as well, but I think that our guest is well and truly from this country and living in this country and born and bred in Ireland, and delighted to have him.
Yeah, so when we were doing the last interview, we mentioned that there was a 9% increase in listenership for music. So not only does there seem to be more creativity abound, but a lot more people are focusing on listening to music, whether it's buying it or streaming it. And I think that's amazing because music is so important. It's so healing. It's like I couldn't go a day without music. It would be an impossibility. In fact, my neighbours get very, very, very worried if they don't hear music in the house. They actually send text messages to make sure I'm okay. So like that'll just tell you the type of person I am. I'm living here 15 years. But yes, without further delay, let's introduce our latest collaborator. So this guy I heard first on Demars Entertainment's radio show. He had a project called Cozy Bot. We then went on to work together for Demars magazine, and both of us were journalists on the magazine and writing articles with Kozak and crew. And then I listened to his project Cozy Bot again when we were coming closer to this, and I was like, oh, I know, I'll get Stephen Brennan to join us. So this is my friend Stephen. How are you?
Hey Rebecca, how's it going? I'm really good. How are you guys doing?
All good, Stephen.
Great, awesome. Yeah, it was great to be a part of the project. I think I saw you had posted about it originally on Facebook, and then when I saw you had linked the art hand, I think it's Sean's social media page, and I just clicked on that, and I was like, oh my god, I need to be a part of this. So I sent you over the Cozy Bot stuff, and then it kind of went from there. So yeah, this has been so much fun, and yeah, can't wait for everybody to see the video tomorrow.
Yeah, because obviously we've all had advanced previews. We couldn't just churn out a video without making sure that all the collaborators are happy with it. So usually the first person who gets it outside of Sean is me. And then the next person, I'll be like, yeah, this works. Or, we'll have a conversation or several. And then we'll be like, okay, send it on to the other person. So everyone here has seen it. Everyone else has to wait till tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. And could I also say, like, I mean, we had a bit of a technical hiccup with this interview. This is take 2 of the interview, but it's also actually the second track that Stephen submitted. And I just would like to kind of say, like, it's happened with other artists as well, in terms of like the final track that Stephen produced and submitted is really, really a beautiful piece. The first piece just couldn't work for me. It just wasn't working with the rhythm of the footage I had and was working on. So thanks so much, Stephen, for take 2 in terms of track 2. And I do believe that the first track has gone elsewhere as well already. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the plan anyway. So I guess to give background of how this happened, the first track was like written in a bit of a rush, I think, because so when I signed up to the project originally, I got like a message from Rebecca like 2 days later being like, how are you getting on with that sand project? And I was kind of thinking I had like weeks or maybe even months to get this done.
So
and
did
then
I.
She was like, I think you said something along the lines of, I've got 9 tracks already. And I was sitting there being like, holy shit, who are these people that are just churning music out like on an hourly basis? And I freaked out, and then did what people do when they freak out, and sat down with the guitar and just churned a technical piece of music out. So I just sat down and I was like, I'll write the track now. Came up with the riff on guitar and built it from there, without really thinking about, like the emotion or the feeling of the track, which isn't really the way we should write music. So I'm not 100% surprised that it didn't make the cut. I think the second track is definitely more like, it's more emotive. It's built on a real experience, so I think it's much more fitting. Can't wait for everyone to hear it as well. It's gonna be good.
And share the sentiment, because when we spoke there during the week, Stephen, it was beautiful. Like even what you were saying there about how that piece of music was, the first piece was created in a kind of like a rolled out off the press kind of a way, but the second piece you actually put the emotion and the sentiment. And for me, when I received the second track, I immediately could see there was sentiment in it. There was kind of like, it is a very, very joyous, when you hear it and see it tomorrow. It's a very, very joyous and uplifting track, and it was easy for me to respond because that emotion and sentiment was already very, very apparent. So tell us about the making of the track, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started, I think I actually started writing it a few days after I got the call from Rebecca saying the first one wasn't going to make the cut. And I was on my motorcycle coming in from Howth to Dublin, and the sun was going down and the city was like there in the distance, and you could see like the flashing lights and Poolbeg Tower, and I could smell the sea just on that kind of like just on the sea road there. And it was just one of those moments of like freedom and serenity that you get, you know, and you like when you get a moment like that, you just kind of take it and you kind of like put it in your brain and you're like, I'm going to save this for later. And you can revisit that. So it was just like a really nice little thing that happened. And I just decided that, you know, like when things like this happen, you kind of commit them to memory, and it's something you can come back to when you're looking for an uplifting moment or an uplifting feeling. So then when I got home, I pretty much started writing it straight away because I had this like vision of the city in the distance. And then with the motorbike as well, I had like some like yellow lenses on, so everything looked really cool and retro. So I was like, oh, it's got to be, let's make it 80s style. So we went down the synthwave route. So it's a synthwave track. It's really, I don't know, it makes me feel quite nostalgic. And I think I said last time, it's like a 99. It's like, you know, nice and simple, ice cream, chocolate in a cone, and just like, you know, you're in Bundoran, you're on the beach, you've got your 99, life is good. So that's what I was trying to get across in this one.
Yeah, no, and I think you do it perfectly. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think people kind of perceive music differently, and actually it's very interesting having Stephen on for this interview now that I think about it, because Stephen has an incredible brain for understanding music in a deconstructed way that I don't. Like, he has loads of knowledge about instruments and stuff I couldn't even explain. Like, I remember one of his articles was teaching me how grunge was grunge. Do you know what I mean? Like, about how do you actually make reverb and stuff like that I would know nothing about. I just know that I connect to music on an emotional level, and I guess when you're creating art for music, that emotional level has to be there as well. So it was just a very, very interesting insight. Not even like just something for us all to kind of go, oh, that's why that happened. And I love this story. And your song is so sunshine summer filled. Like, it's beautiful. I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
And when I heard it as well, first, Stephen, it was for me like those words that you've used to describe it, the freedom and serenity, the nostalgic element of it, and the fact that the yellowness. I mean, when you see the video I output tomorrow, it's very, very yellow and very, very sunshiny. In fact, you've called the track, Viking, can we reveal the name of the track?
The name is already flashing up for everyone to see.
Oh, is it? Of course
yeah.
it is.
Oh,
So the track is called Sunset City and the artscape is called Sunset Shores. So what we do in this project, or what Sean does, is he'll take the name of the title of the song and he'll merge it with whatever artscape he's created in order to make a piece completely different to the song and Lysander again. So like, this is why I think it's really interesting for people to keep watching these, because the project keeps evolving and it's a very difficult concept to kind of explain in a solid manner. I'm finding writing that EPK incredibly difficult. How do you explain a concept?
But that for me is part of the beauty of the progress of something like this, that we haven't written a press statement at the start saying exactly how it's going to be. Like, I mean, we do know our target is 12 tracks, so this is going to be track number 3 tomorrow. But beyond that, really, you know, some of the other artists are certainly releasing the music on Spotify. The videos are going to be on YouTube and all kinds of platforms, on Facebook and so on. But we don't know what incorporating the interviews and the conversations could become part of a documentary, perhaps, or who knows. And that, for me, is the beauty of these kind of experimental things where the magic can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of exactly what's happening here. We're never really sure. It's a progress thing. Usually you have to have these things completely laid out. We can't, because it's very hard to conceptualize an idea. So it's just even beautiful being able to do this. And so far we are having 3 incredible videos with 3 completely different, incredible tracks. So tomorrow, 8 p.m, you will be able to see Stephen Brennan's incredible track, Sunset City, in Sean's amazing Artscape Sunset Shore. And that's really all we have to say to you guys today. Again, guys, thank you so much for take 2 on this one. Everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Do share our project, because it's so difficult for us to explain what's going on. I'd rather you share Sean's video, to be honest, because that's the beautiful one. But these are interesting if you're a creative type and you want to understand how a project like this can actually evolve from a mad idea 7 weeks ago to 3 videos deep.
Well done, Stephen.